What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ty, and here I primarily talk about fragrances, but also sprinkle in some fashion and lifestyle content as well, man. So really the primary purpose is to help you show up as your best self consistently by looking good, smelling good, and of course, feeling good. You know the vibes, man. So do me a favor. If you're interested in those type of videos or that type of content, consider subscribing below, then make sure you hit the bell so you can stay notified anytime I post any new content. And I'm really excited, y'all, because I have 10 of the best fragrances that you can wear this spring. I love spring, y'all, because you get those days that remind you of summer, but you also get cooler evenings that make you, think it's fall, right? And because of that variation, you can get away with a lot of different fragrances, really put your collection to use, right? So I have 10 amazing options here covering all price points and potential, scent profiles that would work in the spring. So, we got a few Middle Eastern releases, of course, have some designers on the list, and even have a few niche options as well. So no matter where you are in your fragrance journey or what type of fragrances you enjoy, probably something on this list that you might be able to pick up or might be able to appreciate. So, okay, getting things kicked off, we have Haramain's Amber Oud Gold Edition, y'all, and I'm sure you heard about this one by now. Very hyped, a hype beast fragrance for sure, but one that's hyped for good reason. This one smells amazing, and of course it's inspired by Xerjoff's Herba Pura. If you're not familiar with that scent profile or this one here, essentially what you get is this beautiful tropical fruitiness. So you get things like pineapple, melon, citrus fruits. Just smells really amazing, y'all. As it dries down, you get some woodiness, some musky tones, and then also this sort of ambery vanilla feel. But all in all, it's really all about that fruitiness, and I always recommend that you try or at least smell the original first. So if you haven't smelled Xerjoff's Herba Pura, check it out. But y'all, when it comes to recommending, I mean, in terms of the price, the performance, the quality that you get here, and just for overall kind of bang for your buck, it's hard not to recommend something like this. And again, one that was hyped, but I feel for a very good reason, and that is Haramain's Amber Oud Gold Edition. Okay, next up, y'all, one of the best cheapies out there, Lataffa's Honor and Glory. Y'all, this is a banger. You get this fruity sweetness from pineapple, then it dries down. You get a little bit of warmth from vanilla, benzoin, and also this creme brulee note, which is just amazing in here. You do get a touch of spices as well from black pepper and cinnamon and a bit of sandalwood as it dries down. But all in all, y'all, this one does everything you want for a spring fragrance. Again, you get that kind of fruity freshness and sweetness, but then you get that vanilla and the warmth and the depth as it dries down. So this is a very well-rounded fragrance, one that smells amazing. I don't think this is a direct clone of anything, though it does remind me of a designer fragrance that I'm actually going to talk a little bit about later in this list. But all in all, y'all, as a standalone, this one is a great option. Again, this is Lataffa's Honor and Glory. Okay, y'all, next up on the list, we got my favorite fragrance from this house, and we're talking about none other than Joe Milano, and that is Game of Spades Wildcard. Been following my channel for a while, you know I love this one. This one's inspired by Bond No. 9's Lafayette Street, which is this really nice, fresh, floral, sweet fragrance that works year-round, but I think spring is really a great time, for this one to shine, that transitional weather. But you get notes like apple, vanilla, you get some amber in the base, and of course, jasmine and some other floral notes. Again, y'all, this one just smells absolutely amazing. Never a bad time to wear it, but I think it works really great in the spring. And if you're someone that likes, Bond No. 9's Lafayette Street, I would highly suggest check out Joe Milano's Game of Spades. To date, definitely the best interpretation of that fragrance. Okay, moving to the designer side, and we're starting with my favorite blue fragrance of all time. That's none other than Chanel's Bleu de Chanel. This is the Eau de Parfum here, y'all. Of course, the EDT and the Parfum are great as well, but this is my personal favorite. It's fresh, it's clean, but then it also has some sensuality and warmth as it dries down. So get the citruses, of course, the different woody notes, and then again, in that dry down, get that tonka, sort of vanilla and ambery feel. Just a great fragrance, one that I believe is timeless, one that would always be in my collection and will always have a special place in my collection because as fragrance lovers out there, you all know every so often you get a fragrance or you smell a fragrance that just sort of makes you re-fall in love with, fragrances and the world of fragrance. And this was one of those for me. So one that's very versatile, can wear it year round, but for me personally, I love wearing this one in the spring, and that is Chanel's Bleu de Chanel. Okay, next up, we got Valentino's Born in Roma Yellow Dream. Might be my favorite release from that entire line. Yeah, I said it. I know there are a lot of big hitters from that line, but for me personally, this might be my favorite, even though it's one that's not talked about as much. You get this pineapple, this mandarin, gingerbread, and vanilla. Really nice, warm, slightly spicy, sweet, but still fresh fragrance. And what made me fall in love with this one is actually I sampled it when I went on a trip to Mexico last year for a vacation. We went during a cooler month, so the days were pretty warm, but at night it got a little cool and breezy. And to me, this was like perfect for all situations while I was there, right? Because you can get that fruity freshness and sweetness up top, but as it dries down, you get this beautiful vanilla and again, that gingerbread, slightly spicy. You think you got some cinnamon in here as well. So all in all, a great fragrance. Also, the fragrance that I was mentioning when I talked a little bit about Lattafa's Honor and Glory, pretty similar. I'd say this one's a bit sweeter and also is a little spicier as well, and I definitely prefer this one. So check this one out. Perfect for spring. Valentino's Born in Roma, Yellow Dream. Okay, next up we have YSL Myslf Le Parfum. Of course, you can also slide in the EDP here. I just really prefer the Le Parfum as a whole over the EDP. You get this orange blossom, which this fragrance is really centered around. So you get this beautiful, fresh, sweet floral that's slightly powdery. But as it dries down, you get this ambery, vanilla, and spice. And for me, this one just smells amazing, y'all. And I love reaching for this because it gives you a way to smell fresh and clean without an abundance of citrus or without your typical kind of blue or marine fragrance. So an amazing release in my opinion. And it's one that if you're a guy just getting into florals and you don't, really love floral fragrances, I think this could be a good one at least to check out because again, though still very unisex, has a slight masculine edge, especially over the EDP because you get that spice and again, that ambery vanilla as it dries down. So check it out if you haven't already, y'all. I love this one. YSL Myslf Le Parfum. Okay, moving into the niche side of things, y'all, starting with Mancera Cedrat Boise. Great fragrance, one that is extremely versatile, can work year round, but I like wearing it most in the spring. It's fresh, it's fruity, but then as it dries down, you get some warmth and depth. You get, woody notes, you get some muskiness, little vanilla, and you even get a touch of leather in here. So relatively complex, but overall, y'all, very easy to wear, very easy to reach for. Smells amazing, one that has been highly complimented for me. And all in all, in terms of bang for your buck, really hard to beat something like this. And again, that's Mancera Cedrat Boise. Y'all, sticking with Mancera, we're running it back with Sicily. And this is just a beautiful fragrance that really makes me think of spring, sunshine, and just a nice warm day. Again, smells great. It reminds me or puts me in the mindset of something like, Haramain's Amber Oud Gold Edition, which I talked a little bit about earlier, or, Xerjoff's Herba Pura. Just that abundance of fruit, citrus and tropical fruits are really, I'd say, the star of the show here with this one. I think you have a peach note that's, really kind of stand out in here. But the difference is with this one and like many Mancera fragrances, you get some really nice floral notes as well. So I think that's what makes this one a bit different. Gives it a little bit more of a freshness and airiness. And again, just a slight difference to something like Amber Oud Gold. So a beautiful fragrance, like I said, especially for a nice warm summer day. Check it out if you haven't already. Mancera Sicily. Okay, just a couple fragrances left, y'all. And so far, everything I mentioned is very versatile. Can wear it, day or night, really for any situation during the springtime. This one fits that same bill, but for me personally, I love it for spring date nights. We got the Harmonist Sun Force, y'all. This one smells absolutely amazing. It's a beautiful scent. You get a warm, spicy, slightly sweet, and fresh fragrance. Some notes like saffron, cardamom, you get this beautiful rose, but then you also get honey as it dries down. And to me, that's really one of the stars of the show because you get this sweetness that isn't overly sweet or not, the typical sweetness that we're used to from designer fragrance with that, sort of vanilla sweetness. So all in all, it's a beautiful fragrance. If I had to compare it to anything, I'd say it's, kind of puts me in the mindset of, though it's not, in any way, shape, or form, a clone of something like YSL's Nuit Cologne. But I think if you were to just make that fragrance slightly fresher, but then also enhance the spice, like I said, with the addition of that saffron, essentially make it niche, right? And the addition of that honey. So again, a beautiful scent. One of my favorite for spring date nights, that's the Harmonist Sun Force. Okay, y'all, last but not least, finishing with one of my all-time favorites, and that's Xerjoff's 40 Knots. Of course, it has this sort of nautical theme and name, and you would think, freshness, kind of marine or blue by the name and even the bottle, and it does have some freshness to it, right? But honestly, y'all, this one, it is a very unique fragrance, and that's why I love it so much. So as you spray it on, definitely has a freshness in the opening, but almost immediately as it starts to dry down, you get a sort of spice to it. And then you get this warm kind of ambery feel, like an ambery sort of vanilla feel as it continues to dry down. And to me, as it reaches its far dry down, almost get this, slight powderiness as well. So all in all, y'all, this one smells amazing. The name might be a bit deceiving, but in terms of the actual smell and how this fragrance develops, to me, it's just absolutely beautiful. And again, I think it's one that can, because it does so many different things and it's rather complex, can likely wear this one, I think, almost in any season. But I think spring and the transitional periods, that's when this one shines most. And again, that's none other than Xerjoff's 40 Knots. Hey y'all, that's going to wrap up today's review. So first and foremost, thank you all for watching. I know there's so many other things that you could be doing, but you decided to tune in, and I greatly appreciate that. As always, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you've tried any of these, or if not, let me know some of your favorite spring fragrances. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. And as always, until next time, peace and love.